Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today is one of your Alders from District Number 3 and former TV personality. I'm saying it because he's right here next to me, and it's just weird for him not to be where I'm at. Logan Reigstad, how are you doing? Welcome to Talking Fitchburg.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
You know, but I also worked at a local station, same one you worked at, and you know, it's a grind to do news and stuff and be on camera and do all those things. So how's it feel to be back in the lights and back on camera and ready to go?
It's like riding a bike. We're right back into it here and ready to dive in and talk Fitchburg.
We are, and District 3 is a very unique district. So tell us a little bit about the makeup of your district for folks who are not familiar.
Yeah, so District 3 essentially is everything east of Fish Hatchery Road and kind of north of Irish Lane in the urban service area, with the exception of Quarry Hill, so kind of south of Lacey, and then that research park, technology park area is part of District 4. There's a lot of newer development, especially to the eastern side. We've got Highfield Reserve and Fahey Fields, Terra Vesa, and then some more established neighborhoods like Swan Creek where I live. And then we also have some older, really well-established homes kind of right along Clayton Road. We have the far kind of northwestern corner of Greenfield, and then a couple folks kind of along Glacier Valley Road, and then back behind Fish Hatchery as well. So.
And Southdale.
And Southdale, lest I forget.
No, I throw that in there because, I mean, it is it's bigger than you think, I guess is what I say. I think yes. District 4 is huge, but this is, to me, like the second biggest, geographically wise it is, and a lot of makeup there. And you got some big parks, too. Southdale Park's really big, and McGaw Park's really nice, so you got some, I mean, you just got it all in your district. Yeah.
Plus, we have a lot of the E-Way, a lot of the nice trails, and once Sain Road is reopened, we'll be able to fully enjoy and take advantage of that resource again.
How's that construction project going?
I've been watching it very closely. It seems like they're back in the swing of things as they should be here. There were some kind of behind the scenes delays as we were hearing from city staff, but it sounds like we're mostly back into the groove. And I think the last update I heard is that it'll be done around end of September, maybe early October. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we don't keep getting these big downpours.
It's always weather. First off, I know there was some high water in one of the areas too that caused a little bit of issues, but nevertheless, when it's done, it's going to be an amazing thorough through. And for what it's worth, it's just going to be nice. So I'm very excited to see that being done. As far as to get to know you a little bit more, what made you want to be an Alder and get involved?
Yeah, well, I kind of the one really big part of it was kind of my desire when I left the local news environment to go from talking about all the problems and, you know, you kind of go and parachute in and say, here's something that's really not working, and then you go to the next thing and the next thing. You know, I wanted to be part of the long-term developing the solutions and executing them and really helping to make a difference rather than just say, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. You know, another thing that I think really kind of drove the point home for me was when I moved back to Dane County in 2021. You know, born and raised in Dane County, went to UW-Madison, and then my TV journey took me to Minnesota, and then Maryland, and then South Carolina, and then back here. So moved around a lot. And when I moved back here, it was an absolute struggle to find anywhere that I could afford to live in Dane County. And had somebody not been leaving my former job the week I started, I was going to end up living with my parents in another county and commuting 2 hours a day round trip, which was certainly less than ideal. So, you know, kind of seeing that and hearing from other folks who have had similar experiences that the housing journey in our county is just so painful, especially for folks who don't have that kind of long established housing. It's really a challenge for, you know, younger folks getting started, and that was one of the things I said, we really need to have somebody who can share that personal narrative and that personal story to help, you know, kind of shine a light on that. I've lived in, you know, in my entire life, I've lived in rural areas and in the heart of Baltimore. I've lived in, you know, lower income housing. I've lived in a parade of homes home in Sun Prairie when I was a kid, you know. So I've seen it all and, you know, can say, well, here's the benefits and why we need all these different types of housing because, you know, one size fits all approach isn't going to work for everybody.
I like asking all the others who've come on the show, I'm always like, you know, why is it so important to get involved? And you kind of answered that. I mean, if you get involved, you can help make a difference in so many ways. So for the things so far that you've been involved with, you know, what's that perspective been like to be on the other side, so to speak, and tell the story of of all your neighbors, your friends, the people who live in Fitchburg.
Yeah. I think right now I've really been focusing a lot on trying to learn as much as I can and do more listening than talking, and really try to dive into the details, reading the planning documents and the budgets, and really get a good sense of where we're going and how we can kind of make those small targeted improvements to then add up and add up and add up and get to some of the bigger ones. I think one of the things that I'm really kind of has touched me quite a bit since I have been on the council is, and it's a really small thing, not to minimize it too much here, but when I was on the Transportation and Transit Commission before council, I had said to city staff it'd be great if we could repaint some of the crosswalks on Sherrill Parkway and Swan Creek because they're really faded. There's some new housing going in at Inspiration at Swan Creek. We've got a bus stop, a B-cycle stop, Swan Creek Park is right there, etc. So after all the, I kind of went through and said, here's what I'd love to see. And within the last couple weeks, that paint has gone down. There's been some new signage that's gone up. And the day after our public works crew was out there painting some of those stripes on the crosswalk, the next morning I was walking to the bus stop and I saw, I believe, a mom and a child, and small, maybe toddler, and he starts like hopscotching his way across the crosswalk here, and it just, it literally almost brought a tear to my eye because it was one of those things where it's not, it didn't solve climate change or the world's, world hunger, but it made such a small, but beneficial difference to this person's life. And seeing one of those things, and then a couple others that I have seen as well, and now watching those build even after 3 months has already been really rewarding. And now getting to dive into budget season and really see how we can continue to make those small but meaningful improvements.
Let's touch on communication. Your background is communication, and you said you want to listen more. So how can people reach and get to you? What would be the recommendation? And whether it's you or any of the other alders or the mayor, how can folks touch base with you? Because you guys want to hear, believe it or not, they want to hear from you as much as the next person.
Absolutely. And one of those things I said before, trying to get out in the community and hearing from folks is I'm really trying to get to as many of the smaller community events as possible, whether there's the neighborhood ice cream socials or, there's a listening session. We had a District 3 listening session. I think it was my 6th day as an alder. So, trying to reach people where they already are. I've wanted to start doing some more listening sessions individually, but at this point I'm finding it more beneficial to kind of go where people already are rather than inviting them to come to me going to them, and, kind of not intruding, but, introducing myself and, saying, hey, I'm here, here's my card, send me a text whenever. Anyone can email me at any time. I have a monthly newsletter that I'm sending out about things that are going on in District 3 and generally, Fitchburg and, as a city. So even if you're not in District 3, there's something there, and that's on my website, which is loganreigstad.com. And if you go to the news page, you can sign up for that. And of course, it's free. Would love for more folks to sign up so they can have a voice, and get back to me that way, of course. And then just email me is probably the easiest way. I think one of the things that people don't always know or, kind of consider is I believe that most, if not all of us on the council and the mayor have full-time jobs outside of this. So certainly I think it's easier than kind of playing, phone tag or anything like that. But I'm always happy to meet with somebody too if I can, be of help. I think that's the one thing that I'd really like to do is if it's something I can be like an actionable item, let me know. And if it's something that's kind of more of a policy, preference, shoot me an email, especially on that. But, my door's always open figuratively, of course, not literally, because I don't want to let all the cold air out in this warm summer weather.
All that are bugs in, so yeah.
This is true.
A little bit of both, you never know. All right, well, let's back to District 3 itself. Any news coming out of this, anything going on in your district currently right now, minus construction that you already kind of commented on, but anything else happening in your world?
I think Sain Road is the biggest one. Obviously, with that, we've had some traffic issues on Lacey Road. I've seen Fitchburg PD out quite a bit more in that Lacey Road, Uptown Central Park Place corridor. I saw them 3 times in a week or so, kind of reminding people to slow down and some, better signage and things in there. Number of exciting park projects happening now or very soon in District 3. We've got some improvements coming to Southdale Park this year and next year. Rimrock Park. And, of course, the McGaw pickleball courts are well underway, so I've been watching that construction go through. And I think those are kind of the big issue or initiatives and places you'll see shovels in the ground right now.
All right. Well, as we wrap up, you've already kind of mentioned how people can get a hold of you, but in general, let's get that out there one more time. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way they can get in contact?
Yeah. Send me a call or send me a text. Give me a call. My cell is 608-509-7422. You can reach me by email, logan.reigstad@fitchburgwi.gov. And then, of course, sign up for my newsletter. That's at loganreigstad.com/news. And then, just pop by City Hall and come to city government meetings. And we'd love to see more folks, sitting in front of the council chambers and sharing your thoughts with us. And we don't bite. It's not that intimidating. You don't have to be professional, and we won't put a mic and a camera in your face here like you're doing to me today. So we'll try to make it a little easy on you here. So
well, the good news is we know they're all watching you at home. That's what's happening. So they're watching Fact TV and watching, but you can come on down and be front row right there.
Absolutely.
That'd be good. All right, Logan. Well, I appreciate the time. The door's always open here, so we hope to get you back on real soon. And if there's anything we can do to help, let us know.
Wonderful. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, and we'll see you again soon.
You can be in my chair. We could swap roles.
Maybe for like an April Fool's Day prank or something. But
okay, fill-in host, future host right there. All right, Logan, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.